Off and underway. Here we go. Semi number 1 and trouble right out of the gate. I believe that was Dakotah Phend with all sorts of trouble. It is going to be the Kosciuszek of Jared Tebo leading the way here in this one. Tebo out front leading us out. Ryan Cavalieri in the number 2 spot. Cody King in the 3 spot. These two racers have raced together for many, many years and have put together some fine racing. And I've talked to Jared before. I've talked to Ryan before. These two drivers definitely like racing one another. They know what each other drive like. They know what they're going to be doing on the track, and they are able to race clean, but yet close at the same time. So Jared Tebo, Ryan Cavalieri jumping out of the gate early on here in this one, 1 and 2. Cody King in that number 3 spot. First and second, already trying to stretch it out just a little bit. They are going to be 1.5 seconds ahead of third. 1 lap into this one. Tebo with a little bit of trouble in the whip section there. He regains his composure. Ryan Cavalieri checks up on the double, and just as I talked about, these two work together well on the track. Obviously, they are competitors, but at the same time, they have respect. Oh, no! Ryan Cavalieri comes up short on the catapult. That rolls him upside down in the center section of that, and that is going to cost him tremendously. So now Cody King has worked his way into the number 2 spot, followed up by Mikey Paige of RJD Hobbies. So Mikey Paige now putting the pressure on Cody King. Fantastic run for Paige now. King, the HB Racing driver. Mikey Paige, the team associated driver. Side by side, Paige has got the inside.
Wisely backed off there as it didn't look like Cody was going to shut off going down the stairway to hell.
Up and over that double once again. Man, the cars, they get kicked weird off of that as these we've gotten into the semifinals. It seems like every car gets kicked kind of barrel rolled to the left, it almost seems like.
Yeah, the face of that jump just getting worse and worse. They're still sort of loaded to the left side coming out of the right-hand turn preceding it, and I think they're kind of trying to get the car starting to turn to the right anyway because the next corner begins before the landing ramp ends. So just a really tricky, tough section made even more extreme by the fact that the faces started to wear away.
Well, absolutely. And Mikey Paige there giving a little bump to Cody King. This is once again your battle for second and third. Jared Tebo trying to check out early on here in this one. And we saw Jared Tebo, he's out. Oh, Ryan Cavalieri, more troubles for him. He gets up on that outside pipe. He's going to go a little bit wide. That's going to let Tanner Stees, the X-Ray driver, sneak by. And Tanner goes wide now and gives the spot right back to Ryan. Ryan moving now back up to the number. Made that mistake down in the middle of that. And that cost him. So now he's back in the number 3 spot as of right now.
Out of each semi, and then whichever 7th place finisher is faster.
Okay, so top 6 plus the 7th place finisher, and of course our top qualifier, Ty Tessman, who is already locked into the main event. So now we're watching that fight right now as Ryan Cavalieri has worked his way up into the number 3 spot. Michael Paige dropping back. So it's now Cavalieri, Stees, and Paige, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Meanwhile, it's Tebo and Cody King, former teammates, 1st and 2nd.
For a long time, both of them raced for Kosciuszek.
Very true. Cody King making the switch from Kosciuszek to HB Racing. And down the front stretch, that's the battle right now that we're watching between Michael Paige in the orange, yellow, and purple, and Tanner Stees in the purple, white, and blue.
And that's for 4th, which would be the first beneficiary of a mistake or a problem for any of the top 3. Alex Kosciuszek trying to maintain some of that magic he saw or found in the truck class, work his way up to another bump up today on Sunday at the Nationals. King out of shape on the first double. Doesn't look like anyone's.
No, in your full running order right now with 4:15 down is going to be Jared Tebo first, Cody King second, Ryan Cavalieri third, followed up by Paige, Alex K, Stees, Phend, Jelin, Weatherholt, Pickett, Bornhorst, Fales, Jones, and Hanna. So right now, Dakotah Phend sitting 7th. He is the one just outside of the direct transfer. So the only shot
to the race for him. Huh?
Yes. Now, if it finished the way it sits right now, if Dakotah Phend was the fastest 7th place finisher out of the 2 semis, he would then transfer. But that is his only shot as a 7th place finisher.
And he is like 10 seconds behind Kosciuszek. So
it's going to be tough for him, that's for sure. And some of the other drivers like CJ Jelin, obviously a bump driver. He wants to make it up, but I think he's probably pretty happy that he's in the semi, let alone the final.
new personal best for Dakotah Phend that lap, 33.016, and he made up 3 seconds on Kosciuszek. So actually, looks like the gap may be just 5 seconds, not quite as extreme as we thought. And we know Dakotah's going to have a little bit more of that big race experience and handle the pressure a little bit better than Kosciuszek here.
That's a long race, too.
Yeah.
Long race.
Kosciuszek less than 1.2 seconds behind team-associated teammate Michael Paige. So, and now Phend dropping to 8th behind CJ Jelin. So the middle of the field here is really going to be the battle to watch, although can't ignore what Jared Tebo's doing out front.
So, and just as I started talking about it there, we saw Jared Tebo. He TQ'd in commanding fashion. He looked pretty confident round 1 of qualifying in Buggy, and just kind of slowly, not going to say slowly went downhill, but
just wasn't able to regain that magic.
Correct. And so he is out front now. He looks pretty strong out here in this one. He's got a 5.2 second lead over Ryan Cavalieri, who's worked his way back to second. Michael Paige in third, Tanner Stees in fourth, Alex K in fifth. Cody King was running second. He's dropped to sixth now. The one I'm keeping my eye on as well is in our 12th place spot, Joe Bornhorst. Joe having a little bit of a rough run here in this one, so we'll see if he can work his way up into the top 6 spots and advance onto the final as well.
And it's difficult to say this because he was second qualifier, but Tebo is typically known more for his prowess in heads-up racing, and especially these longer main events, than he is for being able to go out and put down just a smoking fast 5-minute run. So,
sure.
And we know he's been excited about the track. As you said, we talked to him after that first TQ run. He was excited about how he and Joe had been working together to get that car moving and get it figured out for this. And if he goes out and wins the semi like this, I think he's going to go into the final with just a ton of confidence, and who knows, could win his second title.
And a little bump in there as Alex K gives Tanner Stees a little boost and is able to get by him there. So Tanner Stees now dropped to the number 4 spot. Alex moving up into the number 3 spot. You know something, and you could...
Kosciuszek there with the mistake as you were saying that.
You may have a little bit better answer to this, but a lot of these drivers, now this is the 30-minute main. You hear a lot of these drivers after the mains and stuff, well, I changed tires last minute. What is the reasoning behind changing tires last minute? And will, for instance, I know, like Tebo's been one of them that...
Stees and Kosciuszek going into pit lane. Tebo is saying what, sorry?
I was just going to... Tebo's one of them that, either he or his mechanic or somebody has decided, hey, we need to change tires for this race. What is the thought process behind that? Because I've always been one, if your tires are working, why would you change?
Well, especially as 8-scale racing has progressed over the last several years, we've gone to smaller pin tires. It used to just be everyone ran Crime Fighters, which now is a big block pin. So, as the tires have gotten better, they've gotten more aggressive with tire strategy. You run qualifying tires that may not last 30 minutes. And you hear, like Ryan Mayfield said in the after the Truggy final, the tires that he went out on were much better when the sun was out versus when the clouds came over and blocked the sun and the track temperature dropped. So I think a lot of the changes there, especially the last minute changes, are, well, let's look at the cloud cover. Is the cloud cover going to change? Do we think the track's going to be any different 30 minutes from now than it is now? And also, are we going to try to go for something that's going to be faster at the beginning of the race and may not last as long? Or are we going to try to go for something that may not be as fast in the beginning when track position is more important? You give up a little bit of that track position at the beginning. Is someone tumbling out of the lane there? I think it was Stees.
Yeah, I think it was.
And so you give up a little bit of that track position at the beginning to have something later at the end. And, with RC being such a mental game, I think sometimes the drivers kind of psych themselves out, and it's really a crapshoot then if those last-minute decisions work out for the better or worse.
Yeah, I agree, and hopefully all the drivers have good luck with their tires. But again, we've noticed this weekend no one specific tire brand or tire tread or anything seems to be more dominant than the other. It's just a whole lot of factors put into one. We're now watching Ryan Cavalieri from Team Associated in that number 2 spot. Jared Tebo, of course, out front. Cavalieri and Alex K, teammates, second and third for Team Associated. Tanner Stees, the X-Ray driver, in fourth. Quarterfinal. He's your TQ. You're starting first for the 15 and under final. and now he's looking to make it into the final with a 5th place finish. Still a lot of time to go. We're only 10 minutes in, 20 to go. Michael Paige, the number 6 spot, Tyler Jones, and now look, Dakotah Phend and Joe Bornhorst slowly working their way back up in there as well.
You're right. Dakotah was down, to the 8th, and he's still in 8th. He was down to 9th. We'll have to see if he opted for a tire that may be a little bit better at the end of the race because he had such an ugly start. There's still a lot of time left. The race is only 1/3 of the way through.
That's very true.
But, I can only imagine, like Dakotah, you heard the gentleman that stopped in here after being in our chat room the whole time. It's been so tough, I think, for Dakotah to keep going to this race, knowing that he's literally won every other Roar Off-Road National Championship there is.
Yep.
Except this one. And so I think for this to be at his father-in-law's house and not even make the main, that would be
pretty tough.
Yeah. Here is Michael Paige running in the 6th spot. So that would be the final. Oh, actually, he's in 5th now. The last direct transfer position to the championship main event. Well, 6th would be, which is what CJ Jelin's in at the moment. Paige going a little wide. Jelin trying to jump to the inside.
I think that might be Tanner Stees right there in front of Michael Paige.
Oh, 3-way battle.
Yeah, so I think Stees may have had a little bit of trouble there on the front straight, which allowed Paige. Oh, Paige making a mistake now. CJ Jelin is trying to close that gap up on him. Oh, CJ getting right up behind him there. Down the back straight they go, coming around with 11:45 down, 8:15 to go. Everybody's made their first round of pit stops. Here they come through. Oh, CJ clipping that inside pipe, tumbling. So that knocks CJ back just a little bit. Tanner Stees getting a little wild. Here comes Paige. Michael Paige looking for the inside line on him, not quite close enough to make it happen.
This is one of the gnarliest tracks I've seen in a very long time.
It is wild.
I thought it was so funny when Cody King told me outside. Oh, Stees out of shape. Paige gets by.
Paige actually helped him, though, as he went by. He actually spun him back around.
Cody King told me he was scared to even put his buggy on the track just because it's so gnarly.
Oh, and Paige getting loose coming off that drop away. Catches that inside pipe, catches it again. So that's going to cost him some valuable time, and it looks like that may drop him back just a bit as CJ Jelin going to move up ahead of him. I don't think Tyler Jones has moved up ahead of him.
No, I think that was Griffin Hanna that got by him, but he's a lap down.
So right now, Tanner Stees in that final transfer spot in the number 6 spot. Tyler Jones in the 7th place spot.
He would have to wait to get in on time. Jones is...
That's going to be a long 30 minutes for whoever finishes 7th.
Jones actually just 0.4 of a second behind Tanner Stees.
So closing the gap up.
6 seconds back to Dakotah in 8th. So Dakotah's... he's not running out of time, but... he does need to start moving.
Yeah, absolutely. That's for sure. And that's, you look at some of these guys' lap times, and these guys are all pretty dang close with their laps. So just a few mistakes is really all that separates these guys. And trying to make that time back up can be extremely difficult. And more so difficult on a track that, they don't wreck in it at all in a 5-minute race or something. I think makes things a little more exciting when you got guys crashing here and there and that kind of thing, because it kind of bunches everything. 3-second lead on Ryan Cavalieri. We're looking at that battle now for 6th between Jones and Stees. Tyler Jones has worked his way into 6th now in the pink and blue down the back straight. Tanner Stees behind him in the blue, white, and purple. I think what pink, white, and blue
seem to be popular this weekend.
Yeah, it's really popular.
Into the following bump because there was no lip.
And it looked like trouble there. Not sure which pink, white, and blue one that was. Whether that was Jones, it looks like maybe. So Steve's now going to be moving back up into the number 6 spot. Jones drops to 7th. Back around to the front side. Won't be long. We'll be seeing some more pit stops.
Pretty sketchy to be doing anything but a double, single, double through the front anymore. A lot of the buggy drivers have been used to going triple, double So,
and Dakotah Phend now, as we just saw, has snuck into the view of camera.
you know, in the 8th position.
Yeah, so Dakotah Phend, the TLR driver, is closing in on his TLR teammate, Tyler Jones. Somebody is upside down. Which one is that? That was Tanner Stees, I believe. So Dakotah Phend now is into the number 7 spot. Dakotah may make his way all the way to the main here in this one. It's going to be close. Oh, good save. And right there, I got a feeling that right there is where experience comes in, because Dakotah knew not to punch it to get over the pipe. Just calmly drive over to it, and you can hop over that pipe.
Yeah, he saw well in advance there. He knew he was going to land outside of the lane. Kept under control, slowed down, rolled over the pipe, and then got back on the gas instead of panicking and making it worse.
Absolutely. So we're looking at, got our pit stop times down here in the bottom left side, and we're looking at our Race Day Hobbies pit lane cam as these guys coming in.
There's Fales, I believe.
In and out.
A 7.2 for Mikey Paige and a 7.5.
How about that? A 6.420 for Jared Tebo, your leader.
Yeah, the fastest stop of that round of pits.
Yeah, and fast lap of the race now goes to Tyler Jones.
Wow.
32.3 on lap 28. They're on lap 29 right now. So.
And 2 laps ago, Mikey Paige did a personal best, 32.753.
Wow.
So those 2 drivers, and those are the drivers right on the cusp here. Tebo out of shape going into the pit lane. That might allow, well, Cavalieri, Cavalieri's going to take over the lead, because he's already pitted a second time, and he's only half second back at the finish line there, and that was before Jared made the mistake.
So Cavalieri now up into the number 1 spot. There you see Ryan Cavalieri working his way over the stair step. There's Jared Tebo. And I believe, is that Stees they got between them? I think that might be Tanner Stees, our 8th place driver.
Look at Jared Tebo, half second faster in pit lane again than anybody else. Joe Pillar's on it with that fuel gun.
And I believe Joe is solo pitting, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Well, with it being a clockwise track, the tank's on the left side, so it's actually probably easier.
Yeah.
Might have been Cavalieri that just crashed. Yeah, Tebo
was
getting by him going into sector 2.
So it's now Jared Tebo out front once again. Ryan Cavalieri 2nd. Alex K in the 3 spot. Tyler Jones in the 4. CJ Jelin in the 5. Michael Paige in the 6th, and Dakotah Phend in the 7th. So Dakotah right now is trying to catch up to Michael Paige.
Got a Savox instant replay here. Here's Tebo through the front section over the tabletop. Cavalieri at the top of the screen, though, hitting the pipe, rolling it over, getting stuck on the pipe.
That's what cost him right there. Tebo snuck on by. And there you see our leaders, Jared Tebo and Ryan Cavalieri, and right there behind him is Dakotah Phend. Now, with that being said, now is Dakotah Phend's opportunity to try and kind of latch onto these guys, maybe learn what they're doing a little bit different. These guys are racing hard.
Yeah.
Back and forth they go. But trying to latch onto him a little bit, and maybe they will pull him up to where he needs to be to pass Tyler Jones. Who knows?
Long-time former teammates here, Jared and Ryan, and raced together all along. Both of them have finished on the podium at the Worlds. Both of them are national champions. Jared coming up short on the launch ramp double, and Ryan getting around the outside to take the lead.
And both, ironically, are 10-scale world champions in both two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive classes.
Yep.
But both are missing a world championship in 8-scale buggy.
That's true. I know Ryan's best finish at the 8-scale Worlds was second in 2014. And I think Tebo's best finish was back in 2010 when Cody King won. Tebo was third.
As they work their way onto the backside of the track right now, Ryan Cavalieri leading us out. Jared Tebo in that 2 spot. Alex K in the 3. CJ Jelin and Michael Paige.
It'd be interesting to see how much Jared pushes the issue here. Actually, both of them running Maxima MX engines and fuel too. So teammates in that regard.
True.
Yeah.
And Ryan making the jump this year from
AKA to J Concept.
Yes, and Jared making the jump from Pro Line to AKA.
Yeah,
so,
back to AKA after 1 year hiatus.
everybody kind of changing things up. I believe, is that Tyler Jones there right behind him?
Yeah, it looks like Tyler's having a problem with the front suspension.
So that could be the answer, though, for Dakotah Phend.
He's still in 6th.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Dakotah Phend may be in luck here in this one.
Still a long time left to go, 9:45, but that might be the lucky break that Dakotah hasn't had all race long.
Uh-oh.
All weekend long.
Turn marshal's running. Who is that they're marshaling?
I think that was Fales.
Thought maybe it was Tebo that got caught in that.
No, but Dakotah's right behind Tyler Jones.
Yeah,
Jones' car is definitely wounded.
There goes Phend. Phend now has worked his way into the number 6 spot. So Phend is in a transfer position now to the final. As they work their way back around to the left-hand side. Maybe all Phend needed was our LiveRC chatter, Tony Tiger. It looks like Tyler Jones, that front left shock on the top is definitely not attached to that shock tower. So.
Tough break for the 2015 junior champion.
He's still driving that car extremely well, though.
Considering.
Considering the track and everything. I mean, that makes the car extremely hard to drive anyway, but.
Right, it'd be tough on a groom track.
It really would, yeah. And Ryan Cavalieri out front right now. Jared Tebo in second. Alex K in third.
Dakotah that just let somebody go?
It's possible. Blake Pickett is right behind him, so a good battle now between.
Oh, man, yeah, 0.3 of a second there.
Yeah, Dakotah Phend and Blake Pickett, car 3 and car 7.
Looks like Dakotah coming up a little short, jumping to the stairway to hell.
Another mistake.
No.
There's so many cars right there together, and I believe
that's Pickett ahead of Dakotah, I think.
Yes, so Pickett now moving his way into the transfer position. No, that's Tanner Stees now.
Oh.
So Tanner
Stees has been there, though.
Into the 6th spot. Dakotah Phend dropping to 7th.
And Pickett has lost a couple of positions.
Yes, and now Dakotah back up into the 6th spot. Stees drops to 7th. Flip-flop, flip-flop. Through the whip section, and we're looking at Dakotah Phend right now.
I'm actually wearing tennis shoes.
Yes, you are.
Kosciuszek only 1.2 seconds behind Tebo.
So he's really picked up the pace here in this one as
well.
well.
Connecticutor starting to make his way. Yeah, believe it or not.
All right, fair enough. 7 minutes left to go here in this one. We got our Race Day Hobbies pit lane cam.
So one-man pit stop for, I think that was Alex K.
Good pit stop as well.
Yep, JR Mitch from J Concept helping him out. I like how the pitman there in the gray t-shirt threw the car back down. He walked away like, what? What? He was going to pick a fight with the next car that came in.
Jared Tebo has now taken over the lead from Ryan Cavalieri as Cavalieri drops to 2nd. 1.6 seconds back from Tebo. Alex K going to be in 3rd still. CJ Jelin in 4th. Michael Paige in 5th. Dakotah Phend in that final transfer spot at this time. And he is going to be 2.5 seconds ahead of Tanner Stees, followed up by Tyler Jones, Blake Pickett, Collin Weatherholt, Joe Bornhorst, Griffin Hanna, Justin Fales, and Cody King.
Closest battle right now is still CJ Jelin. Never mind. How interesting would this be with a couple of younger racers, Alex Kosciuszek, CJ Jelin, Michael Paige making it into the final? It'd be great if we see, frankly, either Tanner Stees or Tyler Jones making it in there on time as they swap the 7th spot back and forth a few times here. Dakotah Phend still trying to work his way closer to Michael Paige and the rest of the field. See if Kosciuszek is able to reel in Jared Tebo. Tebo hasn't yet pitted for a 3rd time. And so we don't know yet what that gap's going to be after pit stop cycle through. Cavalieri was just ahead of Tebo before Tebo ducking into pit lane here. So Kosciuszek may have something for Tebo.
So Tyler Jones still holding on to that fast lap of the race with a 32.3. Ryan Cavalieri out front, leading the way, though. Jared Tebo in the number 2 spot. We're following Jared right now.
And is that, I think that's Kosciuszek behind him.
I believe you might be right.
It's a yellow and red car, but yeah, that is. So here is the battle for second. Tebo and Kosciuszek.
Here they come down the front stretch now. You see them taking the safe line at this point.
I live in the New England area. I know how little Kosciuszek can get to run outdoors. Dakotah Phend into pit lane as well.
Oh, in trouble for Jared Tebo.
But a big break there for Kosciuszek.
Oh, he takes out the bucket.
Beat it, bucket. Oh, and he stopped there. That was cool because he knew he cut that corner off.
Yes, so that was good thinking, quick thinking on Jared's part to make sure that he doesn't get docked whatsoever for that.
Yep.
Very quick thing. You know, I've seen a lot of the times these drivers will do that, and I don't think they intentionally are. Some guys are, but don't intentionally cut the track by any means because they don't want to risk that. I think just the adrenaline pump and that kind of thing, they don't even think to stop.
It's just like, what's the shortest distance for me to get back on the track?
Correct.
And that often means cutting the corner.
Correct. Not really thinking about the consequences or meaning to do it. Ryan Cavalieri. Oh.
That's the sign of experience, though, that he didn't make a mistake and then make it worse.
That is true.
Like we saw with who was it that jumped off the edge of the track over there? Dakotah.
Yes. Yep.
Here's Kosciuszek working his way into the whoop section.
Working his way upside down.
A little too fast going in through there. Still maintaining the second spot.
Here comes Jared Tebo. Jared Tebo closing the gap up on him now. Michael Paige in 4th. CJ Jelin still in 5th. Now Blake Pickett is up to 6th. Dakotah has dropped to 7th. So things changing up a bit now for Phend. 3 minutes left to go. This is that battle for the final transfer spot into our final. Into the wave they go. This is the battle down the backstretch. Blake Pickett on the right side. Of course, the orange and blue yellow wheels TLR of Dakotah Phend right there behind him, and Tanner Stees right behind them. So we've got a 3-way battle now for that final transfer spot.
Well, yeah, 3-way battle for a direct transfer spot and the purgatory spot.
And Tanner Stees goes upside down, so Tanner. So Dakotah Phend now up into the number 6 spot looking for, Blake giving him a bump. Blake turns him all the way around. There goes Tanner Stees now. So, Blake Pickett showing Dakotah Phend a wheel, and that puts Tanner Stees in 7th. And that knocks Dakotah Phend. And Pickett goes upside down now.
Justice for Pickett, frankly. That was not a clean move, and he should have stopped.
Wow.
And then Stees out of shape. Phend hits him. They get stuck again.
There goes
Paige
Pickett.
goes by, right?
Paige.
He's already
in that. So
who is that? Paige's buggy?
Yes, it is. So he's but he's trying to put a lap on him.
So it's still Pickett
trying to get by these two.
Yikes, 140 left to go. This is kind of panic time for Dakotah. He's got to get at least in the 7th to have a shot at time. But if they're battling like this, they're going to slow themselves down anyway.
So right now, he is in Dakotah Phend in that 8th place spot. He's got to get to, like Aaron said, at least 7th to even have a shot. For a direct transfer, though, he's got to get to 6th. Somebody going upside down there. And that was Michael Paige, which is a lap ahead of him, so he's not in this battle. So now Dakotah Phend working his way through the corner. Phend hitting the inside of the wave there. Down the back. Transfer spot is up for grabs. Coming down. In the number 7 spot. Blake Pickett in the 6th spot. So Blake Pickett in the Dakotah Phend pushing on Tanner Stees now. Phend to the inside. Phend up into 7th now. So Phend now in the 7th place spot to where he potentially has a shot at making the final. Stees shows him a little wheel there. Stees checks up, though. Down the backstretch, they go 35 seconds. They're going to cross the line. They're going to get one more after this one. On to the right side now. Down the front stretch they go. So Phend. Wow! Tanner Stees jumping into the back of Phend puts them both upside down. And right now, Phend just fighting right now to hold on to 7th, let alone a direct transfer to 6th. So Blake Pickett in that number 6 spot. Up and over the catapult. Here comes Phend. Time is going to expire. 3, 2, 1. That's time. They'll be doing when they cross the line. Blake Pickett, all he's got to do is make this corner up and over the double. Here comes Blake Pickett. Blake Pickett has got it. The final direct transfer for Blake Pickett. Michael Paige is done in 4th. Wow. And ladies and gentlemen, taking your semi-even win, Ryan Cavalieri, the team associated driver out of California, taking the win here in this one. Ryan Cavalieri. Alex K going to be coming around for that number 2 spot, it looks like. Followed up by the Kosciuszek of Jared Tebo in 3rd, Michael Paige in 4th, CJ Jelin in the number 5 spot, and Blake Pickett in 6th. Those 6 drivers, a direct transfer to the 2017 Roar 8-scale off-road fuel national 8-scale buggy final. Dakotah Phend in the number 7 spot. We're going to sit it down now to Aaron Waldron for another Raw Speed Race Report.